Hi everyone, my name is Anila Rao. I'm the VP of APAC at Haptic. So this session is going to be a little bit more active. I'm going to have Arzan Singpurwalla join me. He is the partner lead WhatsApp for business at Meta. So Arzan, we're going to have like a myth versus facts, right? It's almost like a battle that we're having here. So all of you know that, at WhatsApp things are constantly changing, constantly improving, new ideas, new innovation. So a lot of times we get these questions that I thought might as well get Arzan to answer them, right? So a lot of them I'm sure you've heard yourself. So before we get started, my first question to Arzan is actually the fact that we have been speaking about conversational commerce in every single session, right? All of you have heard that maybe 100 times right now. I want to know from Arzan, how important is that to WhatsApp, to Meta? Is it aligning with their vision? Are they happy that Haptic is like greatly investing in conversational commerce? Arzan, what do you think?
Well, it is the vision. So, in a matter of speaking, if you just think about the way each one of us in our days, everything that we do, right from say booking a meal to booking a car, or paying an insurance premium online, or downloading a bank statement, or anything that you do, your experience today with the internet is so fragmented. There are a few things where you have to use an app. There are a few things where you have to use your laptop. There are a few things where you have to pick up the phone and speak to someone, and there are a few things where you have to physically go and get things done. What if you could do all of these things, all the normal things that common people do in their daily lives digitally through a single surface, which is WhatsApp? And it's a surface which all of us love. It's the first platform that you see in the morning, the last thing that you see at night before you go to bed. What if you could do everything through a single pane of glass? So, to answer your question, Anila, in a nutshell, getting every business and every consumer together in a very simple, secure, and an intuitive way is what our vision really is. And conversational commerce is at the heart of every activity that you do when you engage with a business online.
Yeah, and to see Mark Zuckerberg post about conversational commerce, I think that is the belief from the company itself, right? Okay, so let's get started. Myth number one. All the new WhatsApp features are only applicable for e-commerce brands, right? So WhatsApp has been launching a lot of commerce features, list messages, buttons, single product messages, multi-product messages, catalogs, like all the time new features are coming up, right? And because of the word commerce, sometimes people think, is it only for retail and e-commerce industries?
Okay, so I'll answer this question in two parts. The simple answer is, of course, no. So there are banks, like what I think Praful showed earlier. You could apply for a loan, you could even do a trade, you could apply for credit. There are governments who are now using this. You can start ordering, food through railway stations. So it's not only e-commerce brand, it is, of course, brand agnostic, industry agnostic. But I just want to take your attention to, the first visual that Akrith presented. The evolution of our country's digital journey right from the early 2000s till now, where we moved from websites to mobile apps. So when that happened in the early 2000s, when websites were, online commerce just opened up, within our country, there were 20 to 30 million people who actually went and transacted online. And then when we moved to apps, still, it was about 50, 60 or 70 million people who could actually do a monthly active transaction, either through an app or through a website. Today, what has happened is that WhatsApp has emerged as the third surface. It is the surface where consumers' digital presence is the highest, which is why even today, the biggest of brands, if I take an Amazon or a Flipkart, the monthly active users or a user who's actually doing a single transaction every month does not exceed 150 million. Now think of that compared to the number of users in the country who are using WhatsApp, right? 600 million plus. They have the power to spend money. They are digitally connected to the internet because they all have WhatsApp on their phones, but they've just never purchased a brand online through a website or through an app. So how do I get to the next 400 million? That is what e-commerce companies are trying to figure. How do I get to the next wave of customers through which I can monetize, show better lifetime value of my proposition? Which is why there's a perception that is created that it is only the commerce brands who are blasting messages left, right, and center. So it is not just that. The reason why you think it is that because they are most active to gain new consumers through whom they can focus and target across various stages of their customer life cycle.
Right. So think about it. 600 million people on WhatsApp on a 1.3 billion population, right? That's a crazy number of how many people are all in one place. And that's the whole thing, right? You're talking about pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase. It's the full conversational commerce journey that we're talking about, applicable to all of the different industries, right? Whether you're talking retail, e-commerce, the fintech, edtech, all of the digital natives, talking about travel and hospitality. So applicable to all, applicable across different use cases, right? Myth number 2. WhatsApp only supports transactional notification. So of course, when the user does an activity, you're thinking, okay, they made a purchase, here is order information, right? Transactional is linked to their activity. And Arzan, is this a myth?
So okay, let me put it this way. You saw the Geo app, right? It could go a bunch of things. You didn't have to even think twice. What you could otherwise do in terms of figuring out to buy something, you could do it within less than 30 seconds. So very broadly speaking, any brand, any consumer brand, or any business who has a large target audience or target consumer base, if you want to target them, you look at different ways in which you can activate that audience. One is you try to make a sale. You use WhatsApp as a sales channel where you send intelligent marketing notifications, and once the user responds, you have a chatbot journey, which Praful very beautifully articulated how a business can interact with the user in a very intuitive way to get him to do a lot of things which he would otherwise not been able to do, or maybe he's spend a lot of time on the phone speaking to somebody in a call center. So one is of course your intelligent marketing notifications, which result into chatbot journeys. The other is transaction notifications. So let's say I go and pay an EMI, or if I pay an insurance premium, I get my receipt on WhatsApp. If I book a ticket, I get my boarding pass or my ticket on WhatsApp. So these are notifications. The third way in which businesses are looking at WhatsApp is of course commerce, and Jio is like is the benchmark in terms of Indian brands who have actually used the platform to do full funnel commerce journeys. So you can obviously use it for doing a transaction or commerce, which is basically making a payment. And very importantly, customers are now looking at WhatsApp increasingly for driving customer service automation, which is basically help desk and trouble tickets. So imagine if one of us has, let's say, a microwave conks off in your house. Let's say a Samsung microwave. I mean, you wouldn't even know where to go, what to look out for, and who to call, right? I mean, if you're super organized, like very few of us, you probably might have everything, your bill and your receipt organized, kept stashed away nicely in a neat place. But if you don't, what do? You just Google and try and find a toll-free number. You'll call the number. You'll probably be waiting for 10 minutes, waiting for someone to answer your call. Instead of that, if you are connected to Samsung as a business, you just open your WhatsApp, you type a hi, they'll recognize you by your registered mobile number. You can log your complaint in less than a minute. So what just happened? The customer got an amazing user experience. He didn't have to waste too much time in terms of trying to find out who to call or what to do. From the business's standpoint, he optimized and saved a lot of cost by just enabling a journey and getting the business to automate the entire response without actually investing a resource or a contact center agent to address the call. So customer service automation is one of the biggest upcoming segments which businesses are looking at WhatsApp, because every customer contact center call that is received, 70% of those calls today can be automated because the queries are common. And that is one of the biggest drivers why the largest of banks, the largest of consumer brands who have very large contact center infrastructure are looking to implement WhatsApp through customer service automation to reduce their costs from an overall business standpoint.
Right? And let's move to myth number 3. Transactions and payments are not supported on WhatsApp today, right? So typically people would redirect maybe to the website, to their mobile apps to make the payments happen. But when we talk about an end-to-end conversational commerce journey, it has to end with payments, right, Arzan?
Yeah, so payments can happen in a couple of ways. You have the option to natively pay within WhatsApp itself, and even if it is within WhatsApp, there are a couple of options. One is, someone like an Haptic can build the payment integration to a UPI app or a payment gateway. You can choose your preferred method of payment for sure. The other one is, of course, WhatsApp Pay, which is WhatsApp's own UPI, which is currently under beta, which is being tested out with a few clients, like what you saw at Jio. It's completely live and in real time in production. You could use that as well. So there are multiple ways in which you can do. There are brands who choose to take you out of their WhatsApp to the website to redirect you, to their app or to their website to facilitate a payment, and rightfully so for whatever reasons they think are true to their business. But that is again another option through which you could transact. So you have multiple ways to choose. Ultimately, the customer will pay through a means that is comfortable to him. So he can either do it in-app natively, or he could go out to any other payment gateway or net banking through which. So anything's possible.
Right, like because you have so many different integrations, right? Whether Razorpay, PayU, the Setu integrations, all of it is available. Stripe is something we kept showing the examples of, right? So all of it available so that the payment completes end to end, right? Myth number 4. Without opt-ins, brands cannot send notification to their users. I know all of you are thinking about it. When I get a notification, there are like 3 buttons at the bottom. It says report, block, and add to contact. Sometimes I'm really scared for the brand. What will happen if I report them, if I block them, right? So Arzan, can you tell us what happens at the back, right? Is this mandatory? How does it affect the brand? What happens exactly?
Okay, so this is honestly a tricky one, but
see, that's why I asked it. Like, I'm going to put you on stage and ask you this question.
No, I'm happy to answer. So, first of all, opt-ins is an advised manner in which a brand can build a better customer experience for their audiences. And the reason I say this is, let's say today you're a brand, you have a captive audience of let's say 100,000 customers, and you're running WhatsApp campaign, then get better business. You want to expand. Let's say you get a database of the next 10 million prospects from somewhere who are probably using a competitor's brand. You start messaging them on WhatsApp and running a campaign, thinking a part of that is going to convert and come to your channel. Okay, you're wrong. There's a very high chance that your number will get blocked and people will report you as spam. Now, that is why getting an opt-in is super important. But how do you get an opt-in? Like if you have a captive base of say 1, 10, 20, 50 million users and you want to reach out to the next 200, how do I get there? Just because I have contacts of, let's say theoretically I had contacts of everybody in the country who has an Aadhaar card. I have that database, I have all the numbers. If I send them a campaign, do you think I'll be successful? The answer is no. And the reason for that is WhatsApp as a channel has a self-regulatory means by which it governs the fact that the channel should not get abused. And what that means is, let's say you're a brand, you sign up on WhatsApp today. The channel will not allow you to send notifications to an infinite number of audiences till you scale through a certain rate limiting process. Which means, if you can, let's say today, send 1,000 messages to 1,000 unique contacts or 1,000 unique numbers without getting flagged or without your quality rating deteriorating, if you're successful, for 2 successive days to 2,000 unique numbers, are you allowed to move to the next tier, which is 10,000 users. If you can message the next 10,000 users successfully for 2 successive days without getting flagged, which means without a certain small percentage of people reporting you as spam or blocking you, you're allowed to upgrade to a next tier, which is 100,000. If that is successful, can you only go to unlimited? Now, what that means is, the channel is ensuring you send the messages to the right audiences. So one is your captive audiences. And that takes us to a very big eternal question which every brand asks: how do I get new consumers? How do I get more people who will not spam me or who will not block me, but start talking to me in some form of flow? And the answer to that is, different brands have tested different strategies to know what is best for them. So for instance, one of the largest brands have tried out that, sending messages to audiences in B and C class cities, even if it's a first time message, it works very well. People don't report it as spam compared to audiences in, metros, because who have much larger purchasing power, or, audiences who are given an option to look at a message and converse with it rather than, taking you outside the platform, have a much better retention factor. So unless you have an opt-in, you can be assured that someone's getting a message for whom it's not relevant, it's not at the right time, and there's a very high chance you get blocked or marked as spam. So how you intelligently try and unsurface your next level of audiences. And how do you do that? You do that by, let's say, a click to WhatsApp ad or a click to message ad. Well, let's say I'm browsing a website or I'm browsing your catalog and I see something, I click on it, it says click to WhatsApp. I get a message in my WhatsApp. What just happened? A brand discovered my phone number. I have expressed interest in the brand. So even if I don't purchase it, even if I just browse your catalog, they can come to me after a few days and say, hey, we noticed that you browsed my catalog of my newly launched, let's say, Boat headphones. Would you like to try out, a special offer where we're giving you 40% off for the next 48 hours? I would be like, wow. I mean, this is amazing. Why and why not? And once I do that, once I try out and experiment something for the first time, the customer is engaged, and then I get hooked onto the platform. And then there are different points across the entire customer journey where the brand can engage with me and give me a better experience to make me a customer. So like someone mentioned earlier, your LTV scores. Every brand has a magic LTV score or an LTV number. So for instance, for one brand it could be like say, a customer doing 6 transactions a year. For some brands it could be 3. So whatever that score is, your LTV to your customer acquisition cost, if your ratio is optimal, I think you're okay, you're above the wall. Otherwise, you need to think through in terms of how you want to either reach out to bigger audiences or how do you want to optimize your costs. Which is why opt-ins is a regulatory thing which kind of helps ensure that the business is not abusing the channel and you're also using it for the right purposes to get maximum returns. If you don't respect it as a business, if you think you can just use it at your discretion, there's a very high chance you will get spammed. So think of yourselves not as businesses for a minute, think of yourselves as users. Okay, there's a certain amount of irritation that all of us have because someone has sent me a message, but I wouldn't care to even read it, right? I'll just block it randomly because I don't think it's relevant to me. So think of yourself for a minute. How would you look at it if you were a consumer of a business, right? So businesses are also equally responsible to be sure to message the right content to the right consumers.
Right. It's about, creating value on the channel and not spamming, because you don't want WhatsApp to become like the next SMS under any circumstance, right? So just to summarize everything, that we saw right now, WhatsApp commerce doesn't mean retail and e-commerce only. It applies to a lot of different industries, all kinds of use cases, right? We spoke about notifications, there's marketing notifications, promotional notifications as they call it. There's even the transactional ones, right? You want to use notification at the right stages, at the right part of the journey. So that's really essential. Payment is enabled, give all kinds of options to your users. Using payment gateways, WhatsApp Pay is upcoming, through the website, through the app, cash on delivery, whatever makes it convenient for them. And of course, definitely try to get opt-ins. It's a good practice. It improves the health. So make that happen for the own, sort of brand sanctity. So Arzan, as we close this out, Puja is coming up next, but give us a sneak peek of like what's coming up at Meta, what's part of the roadmap. So many people, are curious to hear directly from you.
So I'll talk about one thing which was announced very recently, and that is, we mentioned earlier about businesses trying to go and acquire new customers who are digitally connected on the internet, but they've never really done a transaction online. So businesses are always trying to get new consumers. But now what we're doing, we are bringing consumers to the business. And what that means is we are making every single business that is on WhatsApp, on the business API, natively discovered within WhatsApp. That means as a consumer, I don't need to store a business's phone number for the consumer to message the business on WhatsApp. I'll just open my WhatsApp and type, let's say, a pepper fry or a boat or a Netments, and I'll become self-discoverable without even having to remember or store the number. This is a feature that is going to get introduced towards the end of this year. Now, what does that mean? A user will talk to a business when he really wants help. He wants to reach out for something, either to explore a catalog or to buy something, or in a very higher likely scenario, he wants to reach out to customer support. So if you're a business and if you're on WhatsApp, think about how you want to build your customer success or customer service automation or help desk journeys today, so that by the time the feature is up and running, your customers know exactly what to expect in terms of getting service in a self-serve automated format. So that is something which is very powerful, and that is something I think which will really disrupt the way in which the consumers will now start reaching out to businesses.
Right. Great. Thank you, everyone. I hope this was helpful.